guys, it is time to do some language. So go ahead and get your books or your language pages out. We are going to be doing page 152 and also page 155. We are skipping 153 and 154. That page is a book report that we will be using for Charlotte's Web. So don't get rid of it, but we are definitely not going to be using it until we're done reading Charlotte's Web. So let's take a look at page 152. And this is our last little bit with adverbs. And what we're going to be doing is adding ER and EST, those two suffixes. We're going to be adding them to adjectives so that we can better describe words. And usually we use this when we are comparing two things. So for example, Mrs. Phillips is definitely short. That's an adjective that would describe me. But when you compare Mrs. Phillips and Mrs. Simonis, Mrs. Phillips is shorter than Miss Simonis. But I will have to say I am not the shortest in the whole school. So this is how we use ER and EST to describe things. Here's some help. When you're dealing with ER, you're going to be describing two different people or nouns. So between me and Miss Simonis, that's just two people. I am shorter, okay? And so if you're doing EST, it always works with three or more different nouns that you're comparing. So let's take, for example, the Avengers. And out of the Avengers, and the entire group of the Avengers, Hulk would definitely be the strongest. Hulk is the strongest there is, right? And so here's a hint for you guys. This is the way I see it. I see ER has two letters, so you're comparing two people. So I can put those little letter ERs on those two people that you're comparing, who's taller, who is shorter. And then with EST, it has three letters, so I'm comparing three or more different people when I use EST, okay? On your work page, you're going to be adding ER and adding EST in this first little box. And so you start with warm, and all you have to do is write warmer and warmest. And then for the next three, you're going to be using some of your spelling rules in order to add ER and EST when you're adding a suffix in general. For nice, you're going to be taking off the E and adding the ER. And then look at number 3. For yummy, it ends with a Y. And if you remember your spelling rules, we need to change that Y to an I before we add the suffix. So change the Y to an I and add ER. The same would go if you're adding EST. Number 4, flat. Since it's a short vowel and one consonant at the end, we have to double that consonant before we add the suffix. Hopefully you guys can remember some of these rules from 2nd grade and even 1st grade actually. On Think B, you're going to rewrite the word correctly, adding either ER or EST. And you need to remember if you're comparing two things, so let's look at number 1. Today is cold or colder or coldest than yesterday. You're comparing today and yesterday. That's two things, so you're going to be using colder. Number 2, if you look at it, it says that star is the blank star in the sky. So we're talking about the whole sky full of stars. That's definitely more than 3. So you're going to need to use est. That is the brightest star in the sky tonight. Okay? And you'll continue this on this page. On page 155, if you skip ahead, we're going to be looking at the words more and most, because sometimes certain words cannot just be used by adding ER or EST. For example, beautiful. She is beautifuler, or she is beautifulest. It doesn't sound very good. So when the adjective is really long, it usually sounds better if you will exchange the ER or the EST with the words more or most. Okay, so she is more beautiful. That's still comparing two things. Or she is the most beautiful. Then that would be comparing 3 or more things. So instead of the ER and the EST, you're going to use more and most. And if you do use more and most, you need to get rid of the ER and the EST. So she's more beautifuler. That's way too much stuff. That's a lot going on. So you just use more beautiful, okay? So let's take a look at 2 other words that I want to explore. The first one is the word good, okay? We compare things and we'll say, oh, that is so good. Awesome. But what if we are trying to compare 2 things? How would we use the word good? We can't say gooder. That doesn't sound right. We can't say more good. Ooh, that one's more good than the other. That doesn't sound good either. So we're going to use the word better. So the top ice cream's good, but the second one, it's better. But what if I'm comparing more than one thing? Or what if I want the ultimate of it? Good, better than best. So we don't want to say it's more better. We don't want to say gooder. We use good, better, and best. Those are the appropriate words to use. So let's take a look at the opposite side of this, and let's look at bad. We don't say badder. Ooh, that is a bad fall. That's an angry penguin. But if something is bad and something is worse, very good. I think probably some of you said it. The next word would be worse. That definitely is a worse fall than the penguin fall. And then we go to the ultimate. So we have bad, worse, and then we have worst with a T. So you make sure you have that T at the end, and that is the absolute worst fall that I have to show you. That poor lady. So you've got bad, worse, worst. Okay? I know that this was a lot of information and probably filled your head. Poor little guy. So cute. But we can do this, and you have 2 work pages to do today. So good luck on 155. Read through these sentences carefully and just circle the correct one. At our piano recital, Emma was more nervous or nervouser? Nervouser doesn't sound very right. So more nervous than Ethan. And then if you look at think B, you're doing the same thing. Your dog compared to other dogs. Is your dog smart, smarter, or the smartest? If you're comparing 3, you're going to use EST. Okay? So smartest is your right choice. Good luck, and let me know if you have questions on Zoom.